Our cloud engineers are building a game streaming network to unlock console quality gaming on any device.
What's up YouTube? Corey from the P4 Network here. Chris isn't here today, so instead of doing our more traditional video format, I decided to just do some voiceover about Microsoft's big announcement of Project xCloud. Back at E3, Phil Spencer said that they were working on this and it was some sort of streaming service for the Xbox, but as well as any device that has a screen, whether it's a smartphone or tablet, and it was going to give access to basically anyone to Xbox products. But today they have officially unveiled that as Project xCloud. This generation has been a weird one for Microsoft. Instead of the more traditional lockdown experience, Phil Spencer has said that he wants to get as many players playing as possible. Whether that's on a phone, a tablet, or a TV, if the device has a screen, they want you to play Halo on it. And even though Microsoft and Phil Spencer are promising that the more traditional, high-fidelity console-like experience is not going anywhere with things like Project Scarlet, it's very clear that they believe that cloud computing, as well as with the Microsoft Azure platform, is the future of not only Xbox, but the entire Microsoft ecosystem. But streaming games isn't exactly a new idea, and Sony has pushed this type of service for a few years now with PlayStation Now. There isn't exactly a lot of difference here except maybe messaging and promises. I have tried out PlayStation Now and it's 100% playable, but as someone who does play a ton of games, the lag was definitely noticeable when it came to things like controller input, as well as things like picture clarity. But it definitely works. But the real question is how can Microsoft basically approach this strategy and service differently to entice gamers to play there instead of on Sony's platform? But before we get to that question, let me know in the comments below if you've tried out PlayStation Now and what you thought about it. I'm curious to know what other people's experiences have been with the service and whether they could get it to work, not work, and whether they notice things like lag and picture clarity. But back to Microsoft, they do have the power of the Azure platform, which is basically a big focus for Microsoft as they pivot from being a more software-based company to a more service-based company. And while a lot of their services are software, it's definitely a new strategy for Microsoft going forward, and it's been working pretty well. At the heart of this is the Azure platform, which is very large and covers many different places around the globe. This is the key to Microsoft's plan as they will continue to build upon Azure and not only offer Xbox services, but all of their services to people around the world. And this is kind of where it's a little bit different than Sony. Sony bought Gaikai for one reason, to stream video games, whereas Microsoft's approach is to use the Azure platform for many different products, which means that the platform will get better.
What if everybody in the world could play Halo? What if everybody in the world could play Red Dead Redemption? Everybody in the world could play the games. What would we have to do in order to make that possible?
In order to do that, we believe we need to build a game streaming service.
We see game streaming as a great technology, giving you access to the games that you want to play on the device that you want to play them on.
Being able to compute in the cloud and then stream to whatever device I'm on. Allow me to play with anybody. That's powerful.
When you think about any other form of media, the idea that it's locked to one device is just totally absent. I want to be the center of my world, and I want the devices around me and the services around me to be available wherever I want them to be.
What does it mean to completely change the...
There's a library of games to choose from. It's no secret that Xbox Game Pass is the future of Microsoft's plans when it comes to first-party content. They've already made every first-party game going forward available on day one, and that's enticed a lot of people like myself to pick it up instead of buying a more traditional disc on launch day for large games like Forza Horizon 4. So it could be that Microsoft is planning to basically mimic PlayStation Now in that they're going to be able to stream every game on Xbox Game Pass. But Microsoft also could be setting up to maybe stream any game you want as long as you own it, or maybe they're going to start doing rental services similar to PlayStation Now. We won't really know until 2019 when Microsoft has announced they're going to be doing some sort of public trial. But to wrap this up, it's pretty fair to say that streaming is going to be part of almost every major game company's future. Ubisoft is already doing it with some services in Japan, EA talked about it at E3 this year, Sony's clearly already been doing it, and now Microsoft is throwing their hat in the ring too. With so many competing platforms, it's going to be interesting to see how this works itself out. And when you kind of consider that most hardcore gamers don't want anything to do with streaming, selling the service is gonna be difficult. But that's just my take on Project xCloud. Let me know what you think in the comments below, if this is a service that you're interested in, and how could Microsoft or any of these streaming platforms get you to be someone that wants to stream versus playing on a more traditional console. hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out, and we'll see you next time.
We want those to be world-class, the best place to play.
Consoles are still going to be a flagship experience. You know, you're going to have that immersive, high-fidelity experience with your amazing sound systems. It's all right there.
But we know not everybody on the planet's going to go buy a gaming console. It's actually about choice for you.
It's amazing for traditional console players because it gives them another place to play. But what's incredible is for the people who haven't been introduced to this type of gaming.
People who've never seen a franchise like Halo or never seen a franchise like Gears. It's pretty amazing.
We have it up and running today. And when we have it just right, we're going to scale it out in an epic way and deliver it to the world.